Gather around the table once again for another session of Dungeons and Drakfus, and today we're taking on our first little bit of patched content. So, we've taken on patches before, but first of all, happy Monday, everybody. Last time we finished off pretty much the questing and raiding and dungeon experience for the Burning Crusade, but Burning Crusade wasn't done just yet. So, Black Temple was released as patch 2.1. And a couple of patches had followed since then. We actually saw the rise of the Amani Empire, I believe, in 2.2. So that introduced a brand new 10-man raid, which unfortunately we won't get into because I got remade again. And then 2.3 was introducing a whole new honor system and a better way to be able to get both arena and PvP gear, just in case you wanted to be able to do that. But then 2.4 happened, and we saw the rise of the patch called Fury of the Sunwell. And now we have a whole new set of problems to deal with, because Kael'thas has returned. Except this time he's not alone, and he's announced his new allegiance to the Burning Legion. And so this patch literally begins with Kael'thas securing the Isle of Kael'thas, where the Sunwell rests, the sacred font of power for the Blood Elves. And he's going to use it as a portal to bring in his dark demon masters. Kind of like how the Well of Eternity was used. Now, attached in the description, I'm actually going to put down the Fury of the Sunwell trailer, because it's pretty freaking cool, as well as some additional lore on both Kael'thas, so in case you haven't seen the full story of that, I'll put that in there, and also the story of Kil'jaeden, because that is the demon master that he now responds to, and the next one will actually have a different one that is a little bit more based on the story of what's supposed to be happening here. But first, we need to go to the Isle of Kael'thas, which actually was a daily hub area. It was one of the first ever that I'd ever experienced, and probably one of my personal favorites because they got it right. I love the Isle of Kael'thas. I did it every day until I think I took like a month break before Wrath of the Lich King. Because at that point I'd done Kara so many times I was about ready to just keel over. So let's go ahead and fly to the Shattered Sun staging area, and we'll do a quick magic cut until we are flying to the isle itself. And there it is, off in the distance, the Isle of Kael'thas. Now, it's funny, with the Alliance, you actually have to fly to Ironforge, and then it does a magical teleport to the Isle. But for the Blood Elves, or the Horde in particular, you actually get to do the flight itself. And so here it is. This is where the Sunwell is. This is where the sacred font of power for the Blood Elves is. And isn't it just gorgeous? I still remember the first day I came to the Isle of Kael'thas, which had like a little bit of a mist rolling off of it. It was so awesome. No better imagery could have been put there, in my honest opinion. And like I said, this was a daily hub, so you actually took part in kind of a securing effort. When the thing started, you had very little control of the island. There were so many demons all around, but you slowly kind of regained control of the isle and then had enough of a foothold so that things like the raids and all that could be done. Now, people might think we're just going for the raid, but as a bonus, we actually got an additional 5-man, and that is the point of today. We're going to be stepping into the 5-man before we step into the raid, because the raid, whereas the raid will be dealing with the Sunwell itself, in Magister's Terrace, which is what we're going to be taking on today, we'll be taking on the traitor himself, because that is where Kael'thas Sunstrider resides. Or the new Kael'thas Sunstrider, now with a little bit more of a demonic look to him. You guys will see that in a second. And this is just such a beautiful isle. I always love to just take looks at it. Here's our Shattered Sun offensive coming in. So this is actually where both the Scryers and the Aldor came together to form the Shattered Sun offensive, so that we could then secure the Isle of Kael'thas. So you can actually see the new tabard right there. And like I said, this was not just the home of a raid, this was also the home of a 5-man. And you guys are kind of seeing the finished product, because I'm actually playing on a server that's completed it. Because there you go, you actually get a full-on statue for it. But you could see, you could still do the dailies if you want to do it, to get additional rewards from the Shattered Sun offensive. But we're not going to necessarily worry about that, because our goal is actually going to lie up that way. And that is where the Magister's Terrace is, which, in case you guys are interested, because patch 7.2.5 has already released, that is also where the Trial of Style is hosted. So you actually go to the Magister's Terrace and show off both your best and your worst transmogs. We're not doing that today, though. We're going to go into the Terrace itself and take care of the problems that lie within. And yeah, we're going to be doing it heroic, because why not? And actually, that does have a chance to drop a mount, even though I have collected it. So let's go ahead and step on in. Well, first of all, let's actually do the lore before we step in for the Magister's Terrace. And this is basically the lore for patch 2.4, Fury of the Sunwell. After his defeat in Tempest Keep, Kael'thas Sunstrider publicly revealed his alliance with the ruthless Burning Legion. Intent upon summoning the Demon Lord Kil'jaeden, Kael'thas has returned to the Isle of Kael'thas to make the final preparations for his master's arrival. So let's go ahead and step on in, and we got a brand spanking new loading screen out of it. Oh, it's so great. I was hoping beyond hope in Burning Crusade that the Sunwell Owl would be unlocked. And this is actually a little bit changed from what it was originally, but let's go ahead and grab our quest from Exarch Larathor.
The Legion's end draws near.
Keep your wits about you. There are demons nearby. So, severed communications. We've had the contact embedded in Magister Terrace gathering intelligence for us for some time now, but we've lost contact with him. The information he was collecting is vital to our mission. Alright, so we need to meet up with his contact.
May your days be long and your heart...
And a radical notion. We cannot afford to lose this war. I'd like to empower our sentries so that brave men and women don't have to die. The Legion has gotten a hold of a powerful elemental being. Its essence could be just what we need. So you need to go into the Magister's Terrace and kill Vexillus and obtain its essence.
Do not lose faith.
Then we also have Twisted Associations. The Legion and Kael'thas' forces are becoming increasingly intertwined. This concerns me very deeply. From what we can gather, Selene Fireheart and Priestess Delrissa work closely together to unite the two armies. You need to stop them. So he wants you to kill Selene Fireheart and Priestess Delrissa.
Remember the lessons of the
Basically boss kills. So let's go ahead and move on into the Magister's Terrace itself, where you can see we already have some Blood Elves that are waiting for us at the door. Okay, and actually I'm going to go ahead and turn off auto loot because I do not want to pick up a bunch of netherweave cloth that I am not going to be able to sell. So let's go ahead and do that. So as you can see, you're really fighting off against the Sunblade faction within the Blood Elves, specifically working for Kael'thas and the Burning Legion. But, as you can also tell, this place is in bad shape. We have magic being stolen from the old sentries. We have demonic sentries now taking their places. This is not good. Go ahead and kill off all these guys. And we're already to the first boss. Now, the cool part is that the Dungeon Journal is updated for Magister's Terrace, but not for the Sunwell Raid. So we'll have to rely on Wowpedia for that one, but... Here is the first boss, Selene Fireheart. Let's go ahead and read his lore really quick. Once a respected captain of Kael'thas Sunstrider's personal guard, Selene Fireheart has maintained an unswervingly fierce loyalty to his lord while losing his sanity. Selene has been seduced by the demonic energies of the crystals which surround his chamber, and cannot stop from reveling in their vile power. He will slay any who dare approach the Magister's Terrace, and will drink the magic, life, and blood from their dead bodies. Oh, that's not good. Okay, well, let's go ahead and take care of these. All of these wretched, who are basically former Blood Elves who have now surrendered themselves to power. Surrendered themselves to their magical addiction. There we go, so now we've cleared the area out. Let's go ahead and take care of Selene Fireheart. If I'm saying that wrong, I'm sorry. Hi, buddy. You're wasting my time, sir. Eversong Cuffs, but I already have the appearance, so I'm not gonna... Well, I can sell it, at the very least. Let's just do that. Okay, so that's the first boss already taken care of for Magister's Terrace. And now we head to the second boss, which is apparently called a bunch of mana worms here. Well, we'll have to figure out what the heck is going on here. Oh, but look at that. Even more mana worms in here. And at the very end is the elemental they were talking about, Vexillus. So let's go ahead and bring these guys down. I'm just going to nuke them down as quick as I can. Bring down as many of these guys as I can, and then we'll just nuke them down. Boom! So here is Vexillus. Let's go ahead and go into the lore of Vexillus. An arcane elemental of unimaginable power, Vexillus was summoned to the Magister's Terrace by a trio of blood elves, who were slain by the force of his arrival. The magical energy in the surrounding crystals resonates within Vexillus, and his being is in a constant state of explosive, chaotic flux. And we actually looked at him, when I was raiding back in the day, we looked at him as Curator 2.0. That's basically how he worked. So if you were having trouble understanding how the Curator fight worked, this guy was a good practice run. There we go, Volatile Essence. Let's go ahead and move things forward into the terrace, further into the terrace, I mean. Now, if I remember correctly, our contact is actually here. I might be wrong. Let's see. Nope. I know we're supposed to meet a contact pretty soon. Wants you to meet with find Terrace, a blood elf spy. Okay, so it's not who I thought it was. But I don't know if this is actually going to happen or not, but I do want to showcase this area. There actually used to be a quest given by Kael'thas of the Blue Dragon Flight, and he actually wanted us to peer into this scrying orb, so let's go ahead and do that really quick. I want to showcase this. This is actually a really cool way to get people excited about the raid. And so you stepped out of the terrace itself, and here is the Sunwell Plateau. So you could check out all of the awesome stuff that was going on here, including a dark Naru. Go even deeper into it, and you will eventually find the Sunwell itself with a girl hovering over it. Why is there a girl hovering over it? You guys will find out next time. It's one of those things that Blizzard didn't really explain all that well. And I'll cover that in the Sunwell Plateau. I'll even put some videos for lore. But here is supposedly the Dark Lord watching over her. And that would be the Demon Lord Kil'jaeden, who you actually take on in this raid. It's funny to bring up Kil'jaeden now, especially since we're a week away from the Tomb of Sargeras debuting, and we get to fight Kil'jaeden again. So, here we go. So, now that I've shown you guys that, let's continue on into the terrace. Oh, wait, hold on. Be still, mortals, and hearken to my words. Here he is. Okay, so here is Kael'thas. We just had to go far enough. And let's just talk to him. Do not be frightened, Blood Elf. Our ends are the same. So what brings you to the Sunwell? A friend and I have come to rescue a young human woman from the clutches of the Legion Lord Kil'jaeden and his vile minions. We've discovered that Kael'thas is trying to summon Kil'jaeden from the depths of the Sunwell itself. For the sake of this world, this cannot come to pass. I am committed to seeing that it does not. You are not alone here? Madragosa accompanied me on this journey, but we have become separated in the Sunwell. May fate keep her safe. Okay, so that's basically... He doesn't give a quest anymore, but he does give you that additional lore. So let's go deeper in here, and now we have the Fel Sentries. Obviously powered by Fel Energies, so let's go ahead and take care of these guys. The Sunblade Sentinels, who are very different from the Guardians we've been used to this entire expansion. And on into... so this is basically the lower area of that first place we were at, or that first room. Let's just go ahead and quickly make our way through. And as you can see, Ethereals are even helping in this effort. I'm not going to necessarily take out everybody. Suntouch Satchel. That's pretty cool. A 20-slot bag. And take care of you. And then here is the third boss of the Magister's Terrace, Priestess Delrissa. So let's go ahead and look into her lore. Delrissa is a Shavara priestess acting under the demon lord Kil'jaeden. It is Delrissa who revived Kael'thas Sunstrider after he was heavily wounded in an attack on Tempest Keep, and she has stayed in the Blood Elf Lord's presence ever since. The priestess has a militant circle of loyal acolytes who serve her and will defend her at all costs. This is what we affectionately like to call the arena boss, because this fight is more PvP than most boss fights I can actually think of, because you actually did have to think about this from a PvP mindset. And you actually did have to kill these guys in a proper order that was more along the lines of PvP. I don't have to worry about that, but basically what made this hard is you had to look at her various servants and decide how you were going to handle them, because you actually did have to crowd control these guys and take them out. But we don't need to worry about that because we can just kill her. And I think in most strategies, she was the first kill because she's a solid heal. So there we go. Priestess Delrissa is now taken care of, and we get a Shard of Contempt. And further on into this area, we finally come across the traitor himself. So we're actually entering the inner sanctum of Kael'thas Sunstrider. And let's go ahead and pull these guys back, because I want to be able... He actually has a little bit of a verbal event I want to showcase. Okay, cool. So now that we've taken care of these guys, that is actually Kael'thas himself. Oh.
Look so smug. I know what you're thinking. But Tempest Keep was merely a setback. Did you honestly believe I would trust the future to some blind, half-night elf mongrel? Oh, no. He was merely an instrument. A stepping stone to a much larger plan. It has all led to this. And this time, you will not interfere.
So yeah, this is the new model for Kael'thas Sunstrider. This is now the servant of Kil'jaeden. As you can see, he's got a little fel crystal in him. He still has his little green orbs, verdant orbs over him, but this is obviously a more wretched look for him. And let's go ahead and go into the lore of Kael'thas Sunstrider. Once a true champion to the Blood Elf people and a defender of the race's ancient heritage, Kael'thas Sunstrider has fallen prey to the dark influences of the demon Kil'jaeden while sojourning in Outland. At the bidding of his new master, the wayward prince returned to Azeroth and seized the Sunwell, hoping to use the fount as a means to open a doorway for the demon to his this new and verdant world. Kael'thas is a brilliant tactician, a powerful warrior, and his veins burn with limitless fel magic. So, I don't know how to explain this fight other than it's Kael'thas light. It has a lot of the mechanics in Tempest Keep, but it's been dumbed down to a 5-man kind of aesthetic. So let's go ahead and take him down. First time Fury!
I'll turn your world upside down.
So he does the gravity lapse ability that he actually does do in the raid.
Demise accomplishes nothing. The master will have you. You will drown in your own blood. The world shall burn!
Fun fact, if you have been wondering where the whole merely a setback thing came in, right there. Tempest Keep was merely a setback. Well done, heroes. Let us all hope that this is the last the world will ever see of Kael'thas Sunstrider. I actually am wondering if he'll come back in Legion. Let's see what we have. We did not get the mount this time. That's fine. We did get a couple of items. So let's go ahead and turn these quests in.
Good fortune.
So, Radical Notion. Were you able to get your hands on its essence? Yes. Excellent. I can't wait to present this project to my superiors.
Good
And then Twisted Associations. Well done, soldier. One step at a time.
remain.
There we go. And I'm actually not going to worry about the severed communications because we're not going to be coming back here, so don't worry about that. We probably even missed its event because we killed all the bosses. But that's going to go ahead and do it for the Magister's Terrace. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned tomorrow as we have now taken on the 5-man, but tomorrow we take on the raid itself as we enter the Sunwell Plateau. We'll see you guys then.